and then the 10 makes it 19, and the other action makes it 21. So I'm starting with a 21, and I don't get the downhill thing because not all of my units are firing downhill. So it's 21, but then there's a hindrance of 1 for the palm, so it's a 20 that I'm starting with. And I am rolling. So that's a 26, which I can live with. So your Sogeki Hey guy has a 10, and 1 cover for the palm makes him 11. So he's almost certainly going to break, but he also is almost certainly not going to be killed. Correct, he breaks. That's a total of 20. We're getting high rolls. I can live with that. All right, that's the end of that fire order. All right, I'm playing Asset Denied to break your radio. So it's broken. If I have another Asset Denied card in my hand, I can eliminate it. Sadly, I do not. And that's the last order I'm going to play. So it is over to you.
That was crappy.
Yeah, I had a pretty good run. I had a pretty good spread of cards there, actually.
Yeah, that was a good example of fire group.
Revive! Revive!
I wish I had one. I'm gonna fix my radio.
Ah, man, it's a good thing for me I had that Asset Denied card.
And you are not moving much here.
The well, I don't have many move cards. The so you have to activate a leader for that, I think.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Hey, John, don't forget that you got a whole bunch of little Japanese guys just hanging out there off the board.
Yeah, I forgot how to pull that screen up.
The wrench and screwdriver.
Plus.
Crossfire!
Crossfire.
See in the bottom right.
The hell of a cough you got there, dude.
Crossfire!
You don't have to speak in code. I don't fear your advice.
Alright, let's see. Do I need to hit next order? I can't tell.
Alright. Alright, hold on, let me look at the situation here. Alright. Now, also remember as you go along that when you play an advance order, any unit that's in a cave can advance to any other cave, including you could advance into the cave that I occupy, and then we'd have a melee, which is good for the Japanese.
Oh, that's sweet. Okay.
Melee. You don't probably want to bring your machine gun there necessarily, although it won't hurt you any. But actually, yeah, no, maybe you do.
It takes an advance to do that?
Yeah, so a move order allows you to move up to your movement allowance, and you can be op-fired at while you move. An advance order, any unit that you activate to advance can move 1 hex, as long as it's not a prohibited hex. It just goes the 1 hex regardless of movement point cost. And there cannot be any op-fire at a unit that advances. Advancing is the only way that you can enter a hex that has an enemy unit. And the way that the melee in this game is done is, I think, brilliant. It's very much in favor of the Japanese. The little boxes around your firepower there, any unit that has a boxed firepower gets to add +1 to its firepower for melee.
Alright, so I'm going to do that.
Okay, so then you go ahead and bring all those guys right into the hex where the cave is.
John, now's when you start yelling, Banzai!
Exactly.
And you guys ever play that Alligator Creek scenario in here where it's just a bonsai charge across the creek?
Not only did me and Patrick play it, we played it with night rules. Much funner.
That's awesome, man. I played that once. It came down to the last close combat roll, and I was Japanese. And if I'd gotten to do the melee, I would have won. And boom, time trigger. End of game.
I love that. Yeah, this game is just awesome.
All right, so John, you put your units right in the hex where the cave is, where my units are.
Okay, I was leaving them out just because it seems like it's so confusing when they're all stacked up. But...
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, that's fine. You can do that. So we're not in melee yet. The melee won't happen until the beginning of my turn. But yeah, so you should actually put them there. That's right. So
I don't issue a... okay. Do I hit a fire to do melee?
No, what happens is when at the beginning of the Commonwealth player's turn or the Allied player's turn, any melee hexes that exist will be resolved as melee. So on my turn, if I advance into your hex, on your turn, we don't do the melee yet. You have a chance to get out of that hex. You have a chance to bring more units into that hex. And then after you finish your turn, we do the melee. So it's all geared in favor of the Japanese.
Can I go ahead and fire on you also?
Well,
No.
you can, but your units are in the hex. So if you fire at that hex, you'll be firing at yourself also. No, actually,
You
you're not
can't
allowed
fire
to
into
fire
melee
at
hex.
Yeah, that's
you can't fire into melee hex.
so you can fire, but you can't fire at that hex. But that's not.
Can my broken guy fire?
He has a 0 firepower, so he can't. But you can. You still haven't activated that squad with the machine gun. You can activate an individual unit with an order, just as you can activate a leader. So you could take a shot at me with your machine gun.
And activate B division because he's the one firing the gun. It'll give you a +1.
Do you see what he means by that?
They both have to be activated to get the bonus.
Nope. He said if you activate the B division squad, because it's carrying the machine gun, it's allowed to use the machine gun. So when you fire, I didn't say this either. If you have a unit that has a weapon, the unit can fire the weapon at one target, and it can fire its own firepower at a separate target. Or it can fire group with the weapon and fire at the same target. So you could use the machine gun to shoot at one hex, and then use the B division to shoot at another. You're not allowed to use the machine gun to shoot at one hex and see what happens, and then fire the B division again. So you could either fire the machine gun with an 8-shot as a fire group with the B division, or you could use the machine gun to shoot with 7, and you could use the B division to shoot with 5 at a different target.
I'm going to start with 8 and go after Anzac. So it's going to be 8 I start with.
You can do whatever you want, but you can fire at my group on the hill. They're the most vulnerable.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I have a...
on that hill.
Whoa,
As
but
I
the
got-
sergeant's...
Oh,
Sorry,
right.
the
Okay,
sergeant's
that's
still
right.
on the hex, so he still gets a +1.
You go ahead. You tell him.
Even though you activated the sergeant, because they're all in the same hex, I believe they still get his command of +1.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so start with 9, -1 for the hindrance is
Oh, right,
8.
that's right. So which hex are you shooting at?
No, I'm on a hill, so no hindrance.
Right.
I'm shooting at Thornton's, so hill to hill. So it's just a 9?
That's correct. 9's a lot.
We did that last time.
Boom!
God almighty, what is going on over here?
Is that good?
All right, so you have a 9,
Yeah.
and 11 is a 20. Ugly. That's
By the
not
way,
good.
John.
So my weapon.
I'm sorry, something else.
Oh, go ahead. I'll wait.
No, I'm sorry. Broken units can't fire their guns, and very important to remember that too.
He means broken units can't fire their additional weapons. Most broken units still have some firepower. All right, so
Okay.
this team is an 8. Lieutenant Thornton makes them a 10. All right, so we're going to resolve the event before we finish the resolution of combat. So now down below in the event box, I draw a card. So that event says air support 1945. If this scenario was set in 1945, I would get my airplane. And if I was a dishonest guy, I would lie and tell you that it was set in 1945, but sadly it is not set in 1945. So that event is a non-event for me. So I rolled a 5 on top of a 10 is a 15, so I break.
So a 4, you'd be dead, right?
If it was what?
If you got a 4, you'd be dead.
You rolled a total of 20. No, I would need to get a total of 10 or less. I couldn't have. I could have rolled snake eyes.
Oh.
So now my squad starts with a 7, goes up to a 9 for the leadership, and makes a heroic roll, but still.
Oh, you know what I was thinking? I was thinking the multiply thing. So yeah, that's silly. That's just for the sniper guy. That's why he's so powerful.
Yeah, that guy rules. I love being the Japanese in tactical war games. They have so many fun, interesting rules for them. So Thornton is a 9.
No, it says you're panicking. I guess that's the same thing.
Said what?
It says panics on the pink writing there.
Yeah, I don't know why that is. It's broken. So a 9 and an 11 is 20. So Thornton survives. He does not even break. If I was moving, I would be suppressed right now. Have I got that right? I think I do.
Yes.
So I rolled a 20. So I equaled your total. So I am not hurt. If I had been moving when you shot me, I would be suppressed for that.
Can I activate my guy that's going to be in melee next turn to do reconnoiter?
Only
no,
leader
because
can.
he's already been activated. But if you really want to do a reconnoiter, you can just bring another leader in somewhere, and with a unit if you have one, and recon that way. Yeah, doing reconnoiter right now is a pretty solid plan if you can, because then you'll know what your melee roll is going to be, or you might.
No, out of leaders.
Then you're going to just have to take the fate, but you're going to win the melee. You won't have to worry about it. You've got the too. Okay, so is that your last order, or do you have another one?
That's it.
All right. So now, before my turn starts, we do melee. So we add up our respective firepowers. The machine gun, the squad weapons don't count in melee. You've got Sergeant Obata is a 1 plus 1 for being boxed. The B division is a 5 plus 1. So you've got 8. And my Anzac squad is 5. So you've got 8 to 5. We're each going to do a die roll, and whoever total is the most wins. But there are several actions that affect this. So scan the actions that you have in your hand. Did you refill your hand? So the first thing is starting with the active player, which is you, I think. Is that right? Or do I play ambush cards first?
You're the active player.
Yeah, I'm the active player. Okay, so if I have an ambush card, I can play it, and I can choose to break any unit that's currently in this melee hex. Sadly, I do not have an ambush card. If you have an ambush card now, you have the opportunity to play it and break my squad before we resolve the melee, which I think everyone will agree you should do.
That'd be an ambush order.
It would be an ambush action.
No, I don't have anything.
Okay, so the next thing to check for is bayonets. Starting with me, if I have any cards that say action bayonets, I can play them, and a bayonet card gives you +2 to your melee roll. I do have one that I will play. Now, if you have any bayonets cards, you can play them. I guess we actually trade back and forth. Like I play one, you can play one if you want to, then I get another choice, then you get another choice.
Are you going through a checklist, or are you just remembering what can happen during melee?
I am remembering, and I'm trusting the crowd to tell me if I'm wrong, and I'm pretty sure I'm not wrong.
I don't think I have any cards that help me in melee.
You don't have any bayonet actions in your hand either?
No.
That is unusual for the Japanese. They usually are loaded with those things. You're looking at the action section, right? Not the orders?
Yeah, I just have light wounds, hidden Panji trap, crossfire, crossfire.
That
Oh,
hidden
hidden
trap.
trap.
That's a good card for you. The next time I move, you want to play that. Okay, so you have an 8, and I have a 7, so I did get it close. Now we're going to roll, and whoever wins kills all of the units of the other player. If we tie, it's mutual assured destruction. I will roll. I believe that we finished the melee before. Do you do an event for a melee roll?
I believe you do, Patrick.
Yeah, you do. Okay, so before you do your roll, although we'll just leave it out there for now, we're going to do an event. Because the event could be something like, the hex lights on fire or something. Suppressing fire. Suppress one enemy unit in a hex with both range and line of sight to a friendly machine gun. So I think I can suppress the unit in melee, right?
According to the event, yes, but you have to check your line of sight to see if you can see in the cave, which I think you can.
Line of sight to a machine gun?
Yeah, if you look, it's you have to have line of sight, and a friendly machine gun has to have line of sight to the hex that you want to break.
Yeah, well, I've got 2 machine guns up on that hill with Lieutenant Thornton. So I'm not breaking him, I'm only suppressing him.
Right.
So I'm going to suppress your leader.
Well, broken units cannot fire weapons, but this doesn't really apply to this.
Yeah, because it says specifically in these rule books to interpret the rules literally, not to interpret them. So the event says if it has range and line of sight, so that's all it's got to have. I don't think it's going to matter. So I had a 7 plus 5 is 12, right? That was my roll, and now you've got a 1 and a 6 is 7, plus 7 is 14. So you win. Do you see how that worked? I chose to suppress your sergeant, so he's -1 to all his numbers. So that brings him down to a 1 firepower for melee because he's got that boxed firepower. Plus your B division is 5, plus 1 is a 6. So you start with a 7 and you rolled a 7, which is 14. And I only had a 12 total, so you kill me.
Yep, see it. Pretty close.
Yeah, I got that to be a little bit closer. Now, I right-clicked and hit eliminated. If you go up to the skull and crossbones thing on the top of the module and click it open, you'll see my unit showing up there in the little cemetery.
Let's see him.
If you'll see that flag, the surrender flag there. If you eliminate enough of my units that an eliminated unit shows up on that surrender flag, I surrender. The Japanese never surrender.
Ooh, that's a lot of guys to kill.
Yeah, that won't be how you beat me in this one, I don't think. But okay, so that melee happened at the beginning of the Commonwealth turn. So now it's the Commonwealth turn.
Whoa, points.
Oh, that's right. 2 points, right, for a squad?
2 points.
Oops, I did that wrong. Oh, no, I did it right. Okay, so when you kill an enemy squad, you get 2 points, and so the score went from 5 to 3. And I have to redo the control of that objective. All right, then. That was unpleasant. Okay, I'm going to do an order. That is a revive too, so I can revive my broken units.
You should revive pretty well.
Yeah, the number of different kinds of events is different for each nationality. So the Japanese tend to not have quite as many fire cars, but they'll have a little more movement and a little more. Somebody says no rally in this. What does that mean? Dave said that.
I'm just used to playing Europe.
Sorry, what?
I'm just used to playing Europe. I thought I hadn't played in a while, but you rolled for the morale. I guess, and this one's different.
Yeah, that's right. I think that's true. I've hardly ever played Europe. So the Japanese will tend to have more cards that let them move, more advanced cards for sure, more bayoneted, more ambush cards. Their deck is geared toward trying to get into close combat. And they'll have fewer artillery cards and things. The American deck tends to have more firepower cards. And I can't remember what the Commonwealth has. So it's like asymmetrical. Every deck's not the same. All right, next order. Good.